Hello, good people, and welcome to day 7 of 30 days of data viz. Today we are going over a multi-line retention chart. And so this is cohorted retention based off of users and when they started and how many are still around X days later after they joined. Now, in another video, I go over the kind of the data and the why behind this graph. But in this video, I want to go over exactly this visualization and how we made it in Matplotlib here and go over from there. If you want to see more of 30 Days of Data Viz and the submissions that I've made, go check out 30daysofdataviz.com and go check out Twitter for the community's visualizations that they've also input and give your thoughts and see what you think about those. And do not forget to participate if you want to. Okay, so let's jump into this and what makes this chart kind of unique. So we have our titles, we have a kind of makeshift legend over here. We have every single line on our retention chart, and this is lines representing when a user started. And you can see here that the line color corresponds to the legend in here. And so we're mapping which line it is by the color to the legend over here. We have our y-axis label. We have our formatted y-axis in percentages. And we have an x-axis label as well, days since user first started. So the way that you would read this chart is on day 0. Well, everybody is active on day 0. But as you get further away from when a user joined a service, you know, there's X number of people that have stayed on the service. For example, at day 20 in August 2020, there's about 40% of people left. So there you go. Now, how do we go about making this? Well, there's a couple ways to do it, and the one I chose was via a for loop. And so what I do is I loop through each cohort of users that I have in my data set, and then I plot out a line on top of it. Now, don't get scared. We're going to go over some easy Python and check it out from here. So up at the top, we have some boilerplate, and this is purely just setting my figure size and then setting where I wanted my legend to be. And then what I do is I go through each one of my cohorts, and I'm going to draw a line for each. So what I'm basically doing here is just filtering. So I get a subset of data. I do some data formatting with my subset. And then here's really the important part. This is where I'm plotting. And so what's going to happen here is as I loop through this, Matplotlib is going to keep plotting and plotting and plotting each one of these lines. And that's where I get my resulting multi-line line chart from there. And then finally, what I do here is I do text. And what this means is this is the text that's represented right here. And what I'm doing basically is I'm plotting my cohort. And then I'm getting the line color that I'm currently on, plotting it on the X and the Y, and I'm making sure that the weight is bold, which is what I wanted. And then from here, this is kind of general chart. I'll scroll up here. This is general chart properties. And so this is where I plot the cohort month, which is literally just this black label right here. I'm going to do my X, Y labels and my title. I'm going to set my Y limit. Now, this is kind of something that is, you know, up to each person. You see here that there's a little buffer in between. I kind of like that because it helps you visually see, you know, where it's separated. If you have your line all the way up to the top here, sometimes my mind kind of goes, it's like, well, does it continue up? Because I can't see it actually stop. And so I'm not sure if it continues up, which makes me kind of confused. And so that's why I like a little buffer there so your mind can see that it actually stops. Now, with the buffer on the x-axis right here, you could switch it. It's up to you. Let's just say for example, I wanted to, let's put this up to 100 because I'm just saying 100 right there. Get rid of that. And let's say that that's 0. Excellent. And so you could do it right here, but again, I don't love it because I like seeing that there's a little buffer on the side. So I like the default of Matplotlib. It's no big deal. And then finally, this is a complicated one-liner that's going to format our X or our Y axis. So if I were to comment this out and redo it, you can see here that we just have 0, 0.1, 0.8, 0.6. And then here what you're doing is you're saying, hey, plt.get current axis. Okay, makes sense. There's only one. Set Y tick labels. And then here you're basically just making a list. This is list comprehension, a fancy way of doing it. Format as % for all of the ticks that we have. And then you run that, and then you get your percentages from there. So that's how you make a multi-line line chart. If you want to get this code, head over to the link in the description and check out 30daysofdataviz.com for other charts. Thanks.